so much. It looks so beautiful out there, and it is so much fun. Hey, everybody, I have got a wonderful guest with me right now, and Mrs. Laura Walters, and you might know Laura if you live in Pulaski County, because Laura is a member of the Board of Supervisors of Pulaski County, and also still, I think, on the New River Conservancy, right?
Yes, I'm vice chair this year.
Vice chair, wow, so you're doing a lot.
I'm doing a lot. I'm staying busy.
Well, I wanted to let everybody know, when the New River documentary first came up, it was Laura who called me and said, you know, I've got this idea for a documentary. And we met and had lunch, remember?
Yep.
And you're like, I don't know, the river is so special. Why was that such an important project you wanted to see through?
It's so important because to create the awareness of what the New River is, what it does, that it goes 3 states, it's the second oldest river in the world. You know, all the things that the documentary talked about, the culture, the ecology of it, you know, the history of it. Y'all did such a good job. Lisa and PBS did such a good job of telling all that story. And like you said, the aerials are just awesome in it.
Thank you. And of course, you know, Bob did some of those aerials, so I was pretty proud of him for doing that.
Yep.
Well, we might mention that your husband Jeff is here offset a little bit, but he has a little plane. He flies over Claytor Lake and does so much video and can collect all kinds of other archival footage and things. So what, you mentioned that you saw the documentary. What really impressed you about it?
I learned a lot, and I know a lot about the river.
Great.
You know, I learned a lot of the history and about parts of the river that I don't have as much exposure to, like toward the tail end of West Virginia. So.
Yeah, and you know, the river is full of life, and it gives life. And I know you've been committed to conservancy and natural habitats for so long, even with your role on Claytor Lake. Why is that so important that we continue to respect her and take care of her?
Because our water comes from the New River. There are so many communities that our water comes from the New River. We can't live without water. We have to protect it. We have to keep it, you know, pristine with water and check water quality and do all of those kind of things. You know, shoreline stabilization. You know, the New River Conservancy's motto is to, and our mission is to protect the waters, the woodlands, and the wildlife of the New. So.
Well, and you mentioned the wildlife. Are the wildlife in danger if we don't really take care of her the way she should be?
Yes, we do have some issues with pre-endangered mussels and endangered mussels. Also, the hellbender is a big lizard that dates back to prehistoric times. That's also endangered and found a lot in the New. The candy darter is another. It's a small, beautiful little fish that's found all over the New River.
What about the ecology and the plant life and how it all works together to create a synchronicity almost that's good for the environment and for all of us?
The plant life helps, and the mussels help filter the water, keep it clean. We have to be careful with the plant life about invasive species of plants. Same with the animals and the mollusks and those kind of things, invasive snails. So you just have to be careful. Anytime you change anything in the environment, it changes something else. So you have to be very, very careful about what's done.
Well, I noticed the kudzu seems to be a real problem. Is that also invasive, being a danger to areas of the river?
Hydrilla is invasive. They call it water kudzu. It cannot be eradicated. It can be controlled, and it is controlled in some areas. Sometimes flooding spreads it. Sometimes flooding will take it out. It's just something we have to learn to live with, but it will take away the good plants that are in the lake and the river. So it will just take over those. So we have to be careful about those. And when we eradicate that, we try to plant the native vegetation back.
So it's vegetation, it's taking care of the water and the species, it's obviously ecological impact and pollution. What about the importance of recreation on the river?
You know, the New offers so many opportunities for recreation. It has kayaking, floating, running rapids, swimming, fishing. You know, fishing in the New River is great. So there are a lot of different opportunities and a lot of different access points all the way up and down the river from, the headwaters in the North and South Fork in Boone all the way up to the Kanawha in West Virginia and Charleston.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 320 miles long.
I'm going to put you on the spot. If you've got one piece of advice or one thing you'd like everybody to know or do when it comes to protecting the New River or enjoying the New River, what's the message?
Think. Think before you throw a can down in the street. Think before you throw your trash in the river. People don't realize that you throw a piece of trash down in a town and it goes through the stormwater, ends up in the river. So
that's great.
Yes.
I'm thinking that we all need to be much more aware to protect her and keep her vital for so many more, ever after I'm gone, many more decades and centuries to come, right?
Absolutely. I'm third generation on the lake. My kids are going to be fourth generation. Claytor Lake is a piece of the New River.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us and helping us learn even more about the New River. Let's go back outside to some of the craziness the temperatures are dipping.